Hey, good evening. How is everyone this evening? Good. So we were allowing a few additional moments for those who may have been stuck in the construction traffic to arrive. I know we're still awaiting one person. I know that person, her name is Jody Goodman, CMHA. She'll be coming in shortly, but we'll go ahead and get started. And when she gets here, we'll just act like we volunteered her for something, okay? So y'all just play along when she gets here. She's a pretty good sport, so we'll make her sweat a little bit. So we appreciate everyone's time. We'll do our best to be expeditious in terms of running an efficient meeting. Obviously, we are here today because we are all stakeholders in the community of Villa-Rica, Carroll, Douglas County. So a little bit about who I am myself, and I'll make some introductions. My name is Hunter Etheridge. Obviously, I work for the police department here at the city of Villa-Rica. I've been here for almost 14 years at the agency, but I am from Carroll County, essentially born and raised, so I've spent my entire life here. Grew up in Temple, got married, moved to Villa-Rica, went to college in Carrollton at UWG. I now live in Rupel. I go to church in Bowden. So if you're in Carroll County, you might see me somewhere, right? Don't take offense if I don't recognize you, or if I say hello and you don't recognize me. People associate the shirt and pants with me. So when I see them in blue jeans and a t-shirt, I say, hey, how are you? They look at me like I'm crazy, yet I've known them for years. So bear with me if we see each other off duty, and we'll be friendly to each other regardless. This is Officer Mackenzie O'Bannon. She has kind of been the spearhead ramrod for this effort in kind of communicating and facilitating information to everyone and making certain that everyone knew the purpose of the meeting, sending out invites. We've worked her to death on this. She's done a good job with it, and we'll talk about what efforts we can make together tonight. Mr. Tom Barber is the city manager for the city of Villa-Rica. He is the gentleman in the back. Thank you for being here, Mr. Barber. He also has an interest in this as well because it's part of the communal problem that we're all going to look at together. Now, I'll say this, I do not have all the answers, right? So I know just to bring everyone up to speed, if you did not know, you were here to talk about homelessness and the problems that we have finding resources and solutions for these individuals as we encounter them on the road. Now, it's probably no surprise to you that when these people are seen at large in the community, who gets called? The police department, right? And perhaps rightfully so. But oftentimes we are limited in our problem-solving capability in those situations because it is not unlawful to be homeless, right? And we don't want people to feel as though an arm of the government is hassling or harassing or placing undue pressure on someone because they're on hard times, right? That would be unhumanitarian, and that's certainly not the spirit that we want to have with the community. We want to be problem solvers and helpers. Therein lies the problem. Villa Rica is what you might call the country compared to some other larger metropolitan agencies that have lots of funding resources, personnel, and programs that are focused on resolving these types of issues. Obviously, we're a growing community. We're developing very quickly, but these problems are coming into the community, and we don't yet have a good infrastructure for handling these items. So what we oftentimes find is that we're dispatched to someone panhandling, or a pedestrian in the roadway, or a suspicious person digging in a dumpster, or someone sleeping behind a facility, or a tent pitched in the woods and they're just concerned about their welfare. You name it, those types of calls come in, and we go out and encounter someone who's down on their luck. Now, this could be a number of reasons, right? And this is where the problem becomes very complicated, right? Because there's no single source for the problem, and there's Jody, she's the one I was telling you about that's going to be able to answer a lot of the questions. And she's got items 2 and 3 on the agenda. So, hey, Jody.
Hi, sir.
So, because the problem does not have a single point of origin, and these problems are often individualistic, there's no single cookie-cutter solution that will solve the problem for every person. Some of these people are unhoused or homeless or home challenged. I'm not exactly certain which term everyone prefers to use. As a result of a number of things. Sometimes it is just poor life decisions, and they may have some substance abuse issue, and it has caused a disruption in their life, and they're not able to live what we might characterize as a quote-unquote normal life. Some of them are economic despair, right? They've lost everything. They're not from a family of means. They don't have the resources, credit, whatever it is, needed to obtain housing. Some of them actually, believe it or not, choose that lifestyle for themselves. And as alien as that mindset may seem to us, that is the reality. And they have chosen this lifestyle for themselves. Well, regardless of what set of circumstances led to that situation, it creates a number of problems. Like I initially said, the police calls, right? Just because they choose that lifestyle for themselves, it does not then give them the permission to violate the law in other ways, whether it be a trespassing issue, or blocking traffic, or sometimes just downright scaring people as they approach, let's say, a young mother in a store parking lot. Hey, can I have $1? You know, you got money, and just so you buy something. Yeah, that kind of thing is frightening to individuals who are going about their daily lives and may have their family with them. And those kinds of things result in police contacts. And I'm probably not a surprise to you. We oftentimes deal with the same individuals in those situations time and again. But sometimes we don't. Villa Rica is an interstate town, and as a result of that, a segment of our homeless population is truly transient. They'll be in Douglasville today, Villa Rica for 2 or 3 days, Temple on Saturday, Bremen on Sunday, so on and so forth. So, because the problem is so individualized, I don't think today we will reach a resolution in terms of a program that will solve all of these. What our hope is to determine who is willing to help and how would you like us to communicate that information to you. Because there's only certain things that we can do for the people that choose that lifestyle, right? Even if they've chosen that lifestyle for themselves, they might still need some help. You know, something to eat, something to drink, a change of clothes, whatever the case may be. If they are there as a result of some economic disparity that has placed them in that situation, personal catastrophe, whatever it is, they might legitimately be trying to improve their lot in life, but they don't have the clothing needed to go to a job interview. Or they don't have a place to wash their hair and shave, or whatever the case may be, and they just need a little help for a short period of time to be able to reestablish themselves in society. They may have a substance abuse issue, right? Which opens a whole other can of worms, right? I don't know how many of you would want to put up someone like that, you know, in a facility or pay for a room, or I would think probably not welcome them into your home, but I don't make personal judgments or decisions on those things. That's for you and not me, right? So really what we want to do is talk about how we can work together to solve the problem so that they feel like we can work together as a community to solve a problem that helps all of this, but at the bottom line, helps them, right? Believe it or not, as a police officer, I'm in the people business, right? The people business at the end of the day. I'm a people person. I love people, but people have problems. I do. Y'all probably don't, but I have a few myself, right? These are people who just have more serious, more acute, and larger problems than the rest of us, right? It could be more complicated than that. They might have, as a result of economic despair, turned to substance abuse that resulted in a mental illness, right? You talk about a complex problem. Here we go. So I'm going to kind of do a couple of things. I'm going to do a quick roll call. I just want to jot down the organizations that are represented. I don't necessarily need, you know, names and birthdays and driver's license numbers and things like that. Okay, we're just going to take a quick roster of what organizations are present, so that as we move forward, we kind of know who is speaking for who. Okay. Any questions before we do that? We'll begin here.
The Assembly of the Saints.
Assembly of the Saints, and that's 1, 2, 3, 4.
Yes.
Okay, so I don't know if y'all caught on, but I introduced myself to her. She didn't say I'm with anybody else. I introduced myself to her. She didn't say I was with anybody else. And then this one finally gave it up that all four of them were together. So. I know Church of Christ. Lifegate Church. Billerica First United Methodist.
And Two Shirts Thrift Store.
Two Shirts Thrift Store. Thank you. Billerica First Baptist. Willowbrook / Tanner or Willowbrook? Willowbrook / Tanner. The Community Foundation and Carroll Mental Health Advocates.
And Carroll Crisis Response.
The Carroll Crisis Response Team. That's right, you wear two hats today. So I know that in Officer O'Bannon's research, she determined that there are actually a large number of our faith organizations in the city and the surrounding area that already have programs in place, right? Whether it be a food pantry or a clothes closet, or are willing to offer some degree of assistance in terms of, I get it. Not everybody's ready to just walk up and hand out cash. I get it. But there may be someone here who is willing to, who has some program in place for paying for their laundromat. I don't know. I've got no idea kind of what the spectrum of services that people assist with that may be present. So we'll just kind of go through. Let's just have a discussion about what you guys think are some things that we can work together on and how we want to communicate that information from us to you. Because I assume that when they call 911 that they're not going to dispatch First Baptist, right? They'll send one of ours, right? If I could get them to call you, I would, right? And I know he would go. He's that kind of guy. So how would you like us to communicate that information to you? And again, I recognize that at 02 in the morning is probably not the time you want to be called with that, but how would you like to receive the information in a follow-up? Does that make sense to everyone present? Okay. So we'll begin here at the front, since you four ladies are together. Items that you would like considered for the list, or items that you guys would like to assist with. I'll tell you what, we'll just open it to the group. Who here has a food pantry that assists with these types of things? Okay. First Methodist, Church of Christ, First Baptist. You already have this in roster, kind of the services that are basically allowed. Community Foundations, yes ma'am, it's Kimberly, right? Kim. I'll step on mom.
If I could just make a suggestion, I've been involved in this for about 18, 19 years or so. One thing that through the years that has been kind of a challenge is that the infrastructure, the social infrastructure in Lower River, North Park County, is not quite as developed in other parts. And that's more good and bad than ever. But what has worked, Bound United Christian Ministries came together, they're probably the granddaddy of them all, they've done it the longest. And what they did, they pulled churches together from, it didn't matter what name was on the sign or what color people were in